Hi, welcome back. We're going to try and push through this very quickly. I lost the project numerous times, so I did this quite a few times now. So let's get this started. Where we left off was we were able to do a peek. So if there are any discrepancies, just please send me a message so that I can help you out and maybe redo the video if required, because like I mentioned, I did lose the project and I'm assuming this is where we left off. I really hope it is. Okay, so the first order of business is go to blueprints, Crocopede blueprints, create a blueprint interface, call it BPI char for blueprint interface character. You might have to add an underscore there. So just open this up and change that to BPI space aim, and then under inputs add a bool that's called aim. That should be it. Compile it, go back to the blueprint of the character, go to class settings, and under interfaces just select add blueprint interface char, go to the animation blueprint and then go to the class settings and add the BPI chart there as well. Okay, now that that is done, we're going to go back to the blueprint and we're going to have a look at the aim function. So we need an aim space in order for this to work, and we'll kick off doing that quick. Okay, so first order of business is that in that zip file, I would have updated the zip file by now, so it'll be the same zip that you previously used. Under animations, just create a folder. What am I doing? New folder. Okay, and I'm just going to call it aim underscore standing. Okay, so in this folder, just import it. You'll see the site CC to site RU all the way through. Where this comes from, if you haven't done an aim offset just yet, you might want to have a look at that. Import all of those. So effectively it's single one frame animations that we're going to be using to build the aim space. Now in order to set this up, we need to change all of the blend stuff. I'll show you now. Just waiting for this to save quick. Okay, go look for the animation. Okay, first open the first animation. Now in the content browser, look for iron sight idle. It'll be idle iron sights. Just don't open it, just keep it there. Highlight it. We're going to be using this very often now. Okay, so and then back on the animation for site CC, we want to filter this, and we'll just filter it to site CC. Okay, so for the first animation, you're just going to go to additive settings and you change it to mesh space. At the reference pose, you change it to the bottom option, selected animation frame, and then just click the use from content browser. So it'll use that one. Now we have to repeat this process. So it was the additive settings, mesh space, selected pose from content browser, and just repeat that. Okay, so once you're done with all of them, we'll just save so that those animations keep, and then go back to the folder. We can remove any filters that we had. Under aim standing, we'll just right click animation offset, and we'll select the skeleton. Just give this asset a name. I accidentally clicked. I'm just gonna say aim standing OS for operating system. Not really, it's for offset. And then the x axis will be yaw, and the y axis, or will it be pitch? No, I think I'm right, so just yaw and pitch. Okay, and then change it from minus 90 to 90, minus 90 to 90. Okay, now we're going to apply the parameter changes. We're going to start with CC, drag it into the center. You'll see that the character goes into transformer mode there. Don't be alarmed, that happens. I don't know if it's intended or it doesn't really matter. So then center down, center left. Okay, That should be good. Center left. Okay, and then center right. Let's just change center left over to that side. That's center left because it's actually turning left. Center right. Center up. Left down. Left right. Left up. Right down. It's annoying, isn't it? Yes, I know. Okay, cool. So now we've got little seizures going there. So you can just change the preview base pose to the sight, iron, idle. Okay. Now it actually does look like he's not having seizures, but he's aiming at stuff. Okay, apply that and just save quickly. I'm just going to save all again. Okay, so now we've got that to work. Let's head back over to the event graph. We're going to be modifying the aiming function a lot, but we'll also need values to feed the aim offset. So what I am going to do, I know this is a bit of a cheat and some of you might not appreciate this, but I'm going to do it in any case. So I actually copied and pasted from something that is working just to save time. What you can do is, if you don't know how to set those up, you can look at the epic examples. I'll just quickly run through this as well. So effectively what you're doing is we created two variables, aim pitch and aim yaw. In this case we haven't created them, so when I compile it's going to fail. So I'm just going to promote that or create variables from those. Okay, so create two variables, aim pitch, aim yaw. Plug that into make rotator. That feeds into or interp to that the target is a delta from the control rotation and the actor rotation. So just pause the video and have a look and recreate this if you don't know how to set this up. Otherwise, as mentioned, Epic does have examples that you can also have a look at, and there's quite a few of this. And then the delta world seconds. If I compile now, it's still broken, and that is because there's a variable called aiming. So I think my variable is called aim, or it could be aiming. It's very similar. So we're firing the event tick. That's a sequence. This is just because we're driving this with a tick event. Okay, so this clamp angle here at the end, the -1, we can remove. It was there because my left in the aim offset was in the wrong direction, so it looked a bit weird. Okay, let me just, okay, so or into it breaks the rotator, we're clamping the angles -90 to 90, and we're setting those two values. Okay, so I hope you do get that. Just pause the video here and just get that. Pause. Okay, resume. Okay, cool. So I hope you did create that stuff. We'll head over to the aiming. Oh, I already moved the aiming. So we want to basically get a few things. The first thing we want to do is we want to set, can it actually aim in cover? So when we go to the movement section, we're doing that can move in cover and then a branch to see if it can. If it cannot move in cover, nothing happens. If it can move in cover, then, well, it moves. So we'll create a variable and we'll just call it can move cover. You could add the in if you really want to. So we'll just set this. So right now what we're basically trying to achieve is that we just want to know if it's at the end. It shouldn't be called can move in cover. I do apologize. Just quickly rename this and call it can aim cover. So if it is false, it means it's at the end of the cover and you can either peek now, excuse me, or you can actually aim now in cover. However, if it's capable of moving, it shouldn't be capable of aiming. So we can use this cover S because effectively it is the exact same thing, and just reset it here and move the stuff over. But I don't want to introduce new bugs or stuff. I just want to get the system done now so that we can move on with the more advanced stuff, and maybe at a later point actually do optimize the system a little bit. For now, to keep things clear, we're going to use this boolean value there. Okay, so we need to think of what we're trying to do. I'm just going to disconnect these and I'll move it just up there where we can drag it a bit later. So under the aim box, what we want to do is we want to check, are we currently covered? So we'll check is covered. Okay, if we are covered, we want to also check, can we actually aim in the cover? So we'll just get can aim in cover. Okay, if I am not covered, I just want to be doing a normal aim. So we'll set the controller yaw to false, and we'll set aim, or aiming in your case, to true. That's all that needs to happen. However, if it is covered, I will need to check, can I actually aim in the cover, because I don't want to be aiming while I shouldn't be aiming. And then we'll also set this true. So you might be wondering, why aren't we just doing it everything in the same to be more efficient? It's because we are going to be doing some interesting stuff now. So we'll create another variable. This is just busy cover aiming. Means it's already aiming in cover. Okay. Well, get the mesh. We're going to call that BPI interface now. Well, the blueprint interface. Get the mesh, get its animation instance, and we'll tell the animation instance that's listening for the BPI aim event that we created to set it to true. So we could have just actually set another variable here, and in the animation graph we could have just added another gazillionth variable coming from the cast there, but we're not doing it that way because I'm stubborn like that. So at the false we need to check if we are actually busy aiming in cover. Not set, we need to get, it's because I'm doing it that way. Okay, busy aiming in cover. We'll branch out. Okay, cool. Now we've got that. We are busy aiming in cover. However, if we are not busy aiming in cover, we just want to use controller yaw. I actually think we can get rid of this use controller yaw rotation, and that it's now just become like a reflex to add this in there, but I don't want to remove it now because I don't want to break anything now. I just want this to work as quickly as possible. Okay, and then we need to set this busy cover. Oh, this needs to be true. I do apologize. Just remember, before the BPI aim, it needs to be true. Okay, so at the bottom it needs to be false. So that's going to stop aiming. We now need to tell the animation instance that it's no longer aiming. So with the BPI aim, make sure it goes to false, and then you can execute it. So we're piggybacking off of this already created system. From the false, I'm just going to add a reroute just for clarity, so when we do debug we know where to look. Okay, so basically what's happening is we're releasing the key. It's checking, is it busy covering aiming from a cover. If it's not, then just don't aim anymore. However, if it is, just don't aim anymore, but also tell the animation in the animation instance that I should now stop aiming. However, if we are pressing the key, we're checking, are we in covered? If not, then just do the aim. However, if we are busy or in cover, then I want to check, can I actually aim in the cover? If so, okay, cool. Then aim and tell the animation instance that it's now time to aim. So that's effectively what we are doing there, and we can move on now to the animations. We'll need actual animations. 1 second. Okay, so we'll have to import animations, and they'll also be included in the zip file, and they will just be called cover left aim, cover right aim, cover right aim exit, and cover left aim exit. Okay, so just import those. I'm just quickly going to create a new folder here to keep things a bit clean, and I'm just gonna call this cover aim. I'm just gonna call it cover aim. So we'll get those four we just imported, move it over to that folder, save so everything stays, and if we have a crash everything is good. Okay, so open each of them, just pause it so it's not so distracting. Enable root motion, so just go through them quickly. Enable root motion, enable root motion, enable root motion. I need to explain something quickly to you. When you do pick this up, I'll raise this issue on Answer Hub to see if I can get an answer as to why this is happening. So let's look at the exit quickly. I'm just gonna temporarily disable. So effectively, look, you're supposed to be going back towards this direction to go back in cover. However, I had to animate him to actually move away from the cover. I don't know why, but for some reason the root motion kept being extracted on the axis, on the horizontal axis, and it's extracted in the opposite value. So even though it's supposed to be doing a negative, it's actually doing a positive. By animating it with a positive, it's extracting a negative. I don't know why the hell that happens, but it really gave me sleepless nights. It took me days to figure out that, okay, this is maybe it's just a bug, because I never would thought the animation is actually wrong because it's right. Any case, let's not rant about that. So just select those four and then create animation montages. Now open up each one and change the blend in and blend out time to 0. So the reason we're doing 0 is because these aren't actually animations. They are just extremely short. Now, I mean, a normal blend time is what, 0.25 seconds. That's almost as long as the entire animation, if it's not longer than the entire animation. So we can't be blending because it'll just create some really weird behavior. So there will be some jitters and stuff, but there's nothing a proper animation can fix. Okay, so now we do have those montages. So back on the animation graph, we'll head back to the graph and we'll now have that BPI aim event. Okay, and we're setting that variable, that bool, so we'll just, so that we can work smart, clever, I don't know what to say, but yeah, you know, you get what I'm saying. Okay, and we need to the direction. We'll just duplicate this. So effectively it's going to check if it's true that it's actually aiming when this event is being called. Then cool. Now we need to check the directions and we want to play a montage. Okay, so if it's right, we'll want to play the cover right aim montage. If it is left or false, we want to play the cover left aim montage, and we can just quickly duplicate this. So if this event's called and aim is actually false, it means we have to exit now. Exit the aim. Okay, so we'll take the right aim X and the left aim exit. We'll just feed in there. Okay, so now our montages are set up. We need to actually sort out our animation. So we'll go to the animation graph, and first things first, we'll take the locomotion and we'll cache this information. You don't have to, but it'll keep things clean. So I'm just gonna call this loco cache, and I do apologize for the dogs barking in the background. My neighbor's dogs are persistently barking and annoying as hell. Okay, so we do have that. We'll go with the slot animation. Jeez. Okay, so we did create the locomotion and create a local. Okay, so we'll add a slot, and that will feed the final. and we can feed the slot from the loco cache. Okay, but not entirely. So just copy that. We actually need to set up the aim offset. The base pose for this will be the loco cache, but we don't want to always have this. So we'll blend by bool. Just plug in. I'm jumping a bit, and I'm seeing that those values are not set. So where we have the gazillion stuff here, just pull out from the cast, get the yaw, get the aim yaw, and get the aim pitch. Okay, then promote those to variables. And just plug it in. If you want to, you can just add a few more. If you notice a bit of sarcasm, I don't know why, but doing this irritates me. Like, to a degree where I can stab someone. It really irks me. It just looks damn ugly. I can't handle it. I don't know. It's like a OCD. I feel the need to rant. I feel the need. Oh, it's like I actually get physically upset seeing something like that. So, okay. In any case, I apologize. Okay, so we want to set the aim. Not set the aim. I mean, we want to get the aim, and if we are aiming, then it'll actually get the pitch and yaw. So I think I'm just mad at myself for having done it that way. In any case, so yaw and pitch. Okay, and if it's false, it'll just use the normal locomotion. Remember to complete the execution there. Okay, and okay, cool. So the basics is set up, but we'll have to go to the actual locomotion, the state machine now, and we'll have to open up idle. And then we want where we've got this layer blend per bone, we're layering in if we're looking or not. So conditions are going to be changing a little now. We want to blend based on a bool. Okay, and that bool would be aiming. So if we are aiming, it needs to play the rifle sight idle, play idle rifle sights, because that is our base pose for the aim offset. This will feed in there. However, this is going to cause a problem now, because we'll always be in covered, so it'll always try and just work from the rifle hip. So we'll check if it's covered and it's not aiming. Then it can complete. So let's first check if the aiming just works. Okay, so it looks like the stuff is working. You can't really see its arms, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to this animation blueprint, to the viewport, get the camera boom, and I'm just going to move it a little. That didn't really help much. Let's rotate it a little as well. Okay, we can't rotate it. That's cool. So let's maybe move it a little up as well, but it's gonna always look for it. Okay, so you can almost see it's doing aim there, but it is doing an aim. So let's head in and check. Okay, cool. So we're going into the state. Yeah, so by moving that thing, the camera is all woozy. You don't want to play like that. Okay, so it's working. And that's it for the very, very basics of the cover system. can cover, and you're determining. Ooh, I'm gonna vomit. In any case, that's how we did it. So I don't know what's next. I did receive a few requests for videos, tutorials for specific subjects. I would really love to, and I'm definitely going to expand on this and create an advanced cover system that does amazing stuff, like switching between corners or diving from this cover to that cover, and also crouch cover, prone cover, all sorts of covers, basically every cover you can think of. That's what I would like. The problem is time. So if you do have any specific requests, just send them in and I'll have a look at them. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.